back. Thank you for staying with us. Debate is raging on about the manner in which the government put a 24-hour curfew into effect. Many have expressed the opinion that the measure should have been rolled out with more consideration for vulnerable sections of society. Others say the writing was on the wall and people should have been prepared. Civil engineer John Peters has penned his thoughts on the 7-day 24-hour curfew. It reads, quote, "You cannot deal with a crisis with ad hocism. Very early on, we should have been told what will be triggers for various scenarios. If we get our first case, this is what will happen. If we get our 10th case, this is what will be done. And if we believe it is now a local case, this is what will happen." In that vein, with constant updates, everyone is aware of what the next step will be. So when the most drastic step arrives, then no one is surprised. As I have been saying from day one, a communications plan is needed. End quote. Critics, however, say the writing was on the wall and should have been heeded. Peters rebuffs those comments. He says people who respected the guidelines are seemingly the ones paying for it.
We were told, and I was told, that it is not wise to proceed with hoarding and panic buying. And I responded as an obedient citizen to that particular quote. We were then told that we need to listen to official announcements and not be driven by rumors that are so rife and so prevalent within the society at this point in time. And as an obedient citizen, I also followed through and did not listen to rumors. So when the rumors were circulating and swirling in the atmosphere yesterday afternoon, I got my calls, I got the WhatsApp messages that we're going to get a shutdown later today, and it might last for 7 days. And my response to that was that it is a rumor, it is not an official announcement. And when you come at 8:30 p.m., in the midst of a curfew, when everything is closed, and I, as a citizen, have been obedient to 2 specific instructions given by the government, and I now have to sit in my home for 7 days. Maybe there are others also that are in similar fate. I think that is something that, is unfair.
He says, furthermore, NEMO should have a pandemic plan, and such decisions should not be made in an ad hoc manner.
I think that, we have, it appears on the surface, and it may not be so, that we have walked down a road of ad hocism is the word I would use, and that decisions are being made, with not much thought given in terms of its implications and its effect upon people's lives. And I think that is something that they have to rethink again in terms of their whole approach in dealing with the situation going forward.
Peters says the communication strategy on this matter leaves much to be desired.
I'm not against any drastic steps taken by the government to address this particular crisis. All I'm saying is that there's an importance for information, there's an importance for communication, and communication is a science. It's not something that is that anybody can engage in. It is a science. There are experts in communication, how you convey information to people, for them to buy into it. That, I think, is something that we have to learn from this whole experience.
That was civil engineer John Peters. The Department of Health and Wellness informs the public that during the 24-hour shutdown from Wednesday the 1st of April to Tuesday the 7th of April, pharmacy services will be available at the various wellness centers and hospitals based on the schedule. I'll take you through the schedule. Let's begin with Thursday the 2nd of April. Pharmacy services will be available at the Grosley Polyclinic, the Babonneau Wellness Center, the Castries Wellness Center, the Bexar Wellness Center, the Dennery Hospital, and the Soufriere Hospital. Moving on. On Friday, the 3rd of April, pharmacy services will be available at the Grosley Polyclinic, the Babonneau Wellness Center, the Castries Wellness Center, the Bexar Wellness Center, Ancillary Wellness Center, Dennery Hospital, Soufriere Hospital. On Monday, the 6th of April, pharmacy services will be available at the Grosley Polyclinic, the Babonneau Wellness Center, the Castries Wellness Center, the Bexar Wellness Center, the Ancillary Wellness Center, the Dennery Hospital, and Soufrière Hospital. On Tuesday, the 7th of April, pharmacy services will be available at the Groselet Polyclinic, the Babonneau Wellness Center, the Castries Wellness Center, the Bexor Wellness Center, the Ancillary Wellness Center, the Canneries Wellness Center, Dennery Hospital, and Soufrière Hospital. As previously announced, the government of St. Lucia is currently in the midst of rolling out a stimulus plan to help the local economy and citizens amid the COVID-19 pandemic. In a recent update on the initiative, Prime Minister Alain Chastanet said the government will accomplish this with a twofold approach.
My government has decided that it's going to introduce two packages. The first one is going to be a COVID rescue package. And that package started with our discussions with the central bank and the bankers here in order to make sure that people knew that they were not going to lose your home, you knew that you weren't going to lose your car, and that certainly whatever personal loans you had, they would not be called in on you. And that there wouldn't be the expectation that if you lost your job, that you would have to be able to find the money to pay off these loans. In terms of income support, my cabinet has already agreed that we are going to provide income support to the persons who have lost their jobs. What we have to make sure is that we have the mechanism in order to make sure that that is fair and that it's not to one sector in particular, but to all sectors of the economy that have been impacted. Both people who are in the formal sector as well as individuals who are in the informal sector and small businesses.
Though the economic strain is felt in all sectors, the Prime Minister noted that tourism has been hit the hardest, with 13,500 workers laid off. He says with consideration to this, the government is in discussions to ensure that aid is distributed fairly.
It's important and imperative that we're able to meet with all of these individuals before we announce formally what our overall package is going to be. But let me reassure all St. Lucians that we will have a package in order to be able to help people with their income levels.
The local COVID-19 situation has already seen the shutdown of the country and a halt in economic activity, both equating to what the Prime Minister described as circumstances not suitable for any economic injection at this time. He says the packages will be rolled out subsequent to the containment of COVID-19. Behavior and Communications Specialist Bennett Charles is appealing to authorities to ensure that the safety of both the vulnerable and aid workers are not compromised when relief packages are going to be distributed. He is calling for the highest level of precaution to be taken. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
Activist Bennett Charles is calling on the government and NEMO to ensure that there is not more harm than good being done to the vulnerable when relief packages are being distributed.
I must highlight and reiterate the need for safety. While we focus on social distancing and ensuring that we stay indoors during this time period, we must remember to take certain measures to ensure that while we distribute food packages, relief items to the needy, that we do not compromise their health.
He says examples must be taken from incidents that have happened over the years involving parties who had very good intentions but did not ensure they were following safety protocols to the max.
During the HIV epidemic in the 80s, the Canadian Red Cross had to dish out millions of dollars to persons who were inadvertently infected with HIV due to blood collected by the Canadian Red Cross. In 2010, during the earthquake in Haiti, thousands of persons lost their lives and were infected due to cholera outbreak brought in by aid workers out of the Nepal region.
Charles says aid workers and volunteers must be cautious and ensure they are protected to the max, particularly when packaging and delivering said relief supplies.
While the warehouses of NEMO may be actively, buzzing with volunteers, we need to ensure that the proper procedures are in place so that volunteers themselves are safe, that's one, that they're practicing what we preach, that we do have the appropriate safety equipment to ensure that the packaging of food is done, that there's no contamination of products with bodily fluids while we're doing this packaging, that the volunteers have the appropriate mask, the appropriate glove, and ensuring that the volunteers themselves are healthy. We do not want a case where we actually introduce the virus into the very households of persons we're trying to protect.
He says while he is very happy that disaster committees have been activated, it must be ensured that no one's life or health is compromised, especially since volunteers are trying to do good during such a difficult time. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.